I just wanted to ask you maybe about the role of the mayor. I mean, you see Michael Bloomberg as an example of someone who's taken a bit of a different approach and acts a bit more like a CEO than a political figure. So, do you think that mayors of the future should be kind of waning more towards kind of a business approach to a city, running it kind of like a corporation, than kind of a traditional political role?
I start with a strong no. I would say that was his worst defect. You don't have to be a businessman to have good ideas. And indeed, good ideas don't work unless you have the engagement and support of citizens. And one of the bad things about Bloomberg is that he had a lot of good ideas and failed to get real civic and political support for them, which meant they were easily shot down in the courts. They were easily thwarted and subverted by underlings who didn't want to do it and knew there was little support for it in the community. The idea of dealing with childhood obesity was brilliant, important, and a fundamental contribution to American public health. But he failed because he didn't get the teachers, he didn't get the parents, he didn't get the kids, he didn't get the Cuisinarian food establishment behind him in doing it. It was shot down by a court, but it wasn't working anyway because he basically got no support from it, from those who should have been supportive of it. So I would say running a public entity like a city as if it were a private corporation is to misunderstand the public and democratic character of the political institutions you're running. You've got to have good ideas. You've got to have executive authority. That's why they call the chief executive of the city. But you're not a CEO running a private corporation. You're an emblem of the city. You're a fellow citizen working as a neighbor to help citizens achieve common purposes with their engagement and participation. If you don't do that in the long term, you're not going to be effective mayor.
Look, I would absolutely agree, and I think what's interesting is that the informal power of mayors has grown over time, because this is the power of mayors to act as the one democratically legitimate elected official in their city, and to convene stakeholders. These leaders, corporate, civic, philanthropic, university, labor, environmental, who really co-produce the economy and co-govern their communities. And when they do that, what you can have is the kind of collective action and collective problem solving that doesn't happen in Washington, but fundamentally does happen in cities and metropolitan areas around the stuff that really matters: infrastructure, innovation, education, skills, housing. I mean, and mayors are able to do it not just by their governmental power, but because of this ability to leverage up private civic capital and expertise and talent.